Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Movie and TV Talk. And for this week, I'm going to do something special. Instead of doing a longer video discussing a couple stories, I'm going to be doing two longer videos discussing two different stories because I want to do a whole Pixar video, which will be episode 2 or part 2 of this week's episode. And this episode, per the title, is Orange is the New Black Season 4 review. This weekend was my birthday. Orange is the New Black Season 4 came out on June 17th. My birthday is the 18th. I did celebrate my birthday with lots of people, but I also binged Season 4, and oh my god, Season 4 is so good. I have so much to discuss with it. There are spoilers in this review, so if you have not seen Season 4, honestly, just turn back now because I can't even separate non-spoilers from spoilers. So this is a full-on spoiler review, just a heads up right away. Season 4 is so good, and the show has already been renewed for Season 5, 6, and 7, which is fantastic, and it's also crazy since Piper is technically only in jail, I believe, for 15 months, and now the show is going to be going on for another 3 years. That's just absolutely insane. So this was a fantastic season, and it was so good that it made me want to rewatch Seasons 1 through 4, and I probably will be doing that very soon. I actually was watching the CW's Arrow for the first time, but I just liked Season 4 so much that I want to go back and really refresh myself and really get involved with these characters. And also kind of see the differences between the seasons because I noticed a very big change of pace with this season. And that being this season and sort of last season was very character-driven and not just focused on Taylor Schilling's Piper. And Taylor Schilling does a fantastic job as Piper. Schilling. Sorry, I have notes here and I just want to make sure I'm saying her last name correctly. Piper is a very interesting character, but I'm really glad that the show's focus is really off of her and also off of Lauren Preppon's Alex Voss. I had her name too. I just want to make sure that I'm absolutely saying it correctly. So Alex and Piper were really not the pinnacle focus here, but they were definitely involved. In fact, there was truly no main character for this season, in my opinion. Maybe Joe Caputo could actually have taken that role because he was a fantastic character. I just want to make sure that I have his name. I have so many characters and so many notes. Nick Sando did a fantastic job as Joe Caputo, as he always does. Netflix always does a fantastic job with their shows. But Mr. Caputo was very much a regular character here for me. So let's kind of get right into it. As I said, this season is very much focused on the individual characters. There's no overall main character. And I just have a list of the characters that I thought were the best. And I'm just going to go through them. So let's talk about the newest member of the cast was Judy King, who's played by Blair Brown. And Judy King, I thought, was one of the most interesting criminals that the show has had in Litchfield Prison. She's older, she's a celebrity, and she got all this special treatment. She had a huge crush on Joe Lushek, played by Matt Peters, who's also a very good actor too. But Judy King's character is just so funny because she's essentially able to manipulate everyone to get what she wants. And in the end, by the end of the season, her sentence has already been served, which is also extremely crazy. And I had wanted her to stay on for more time. But because a main character dies at the end of the season, they kind of hoped that she would get the press to, figure out who it is. But that's a whole big thing. But we'll talk about the season finale in detail towards the end of this episode. So Judy King was extremely interesting. She had great interactions with Samaria. Sorry, I really hate mispronouncing names. Samaria Wiley, Poussey Washington. She did a fantastic. The two of them had fantastic chemistry on screen. And also, speaking of Poussey, I am Kimiko Glenn. Sorry, I am so sorry that I'm kind of like veering back and forth, just because again the show has so many characters that it's ridiculous. Poussey and Brooke Soso, played by Kimiko Glenn, had a very much a interesting relationship. So Judy King, Soso, and Poussey all had some real fun times together. And also, Poussey had a fantastic job with Sydney, Black Sydney, played by Andreen Moore. And I loved their interactions. Essentially, there was a big lesbian kiss between Sydney and Judy. And it was one of the funniest things the show has done. And Sydney goes, "My mama gonna see me kissing a white woman." And I thought, oh, it was so funny. It was just, the way it was done was fantastic. So a lot of characters got intensive development here, which honestly, it served them well. like for example, Crazy Eyes, we got to see a bit more of her mental disabilities and why she ended up in the prison. Crazy Eyes' is actress. I don't want to blank on that name. Uzo Aduba is very good as Suzanne Warren or Crazy Eyes. I'm just going to call her Suzanne because I don't like saying Crazy Eyes. But Suzanne is a very interesting character. She has a lot of love and respect, or a lot of other inmates love and respect her, at least love her. I'm not sure if they respect her, but they very much are watching out for her, which I really, really liked. At the end of season 3, when they're all on the lake, Suzanne runs off with one of the other inmates who kind of has a crush on her, and Suzanne gets a little bit too, it's too much for her. And Suzanne's development throughout the season was really good, to the point that she did beat that inmate to a pulp, which was extremely sad because she was instigated by many guards. So what's interesting here is as opposed to it being focused on Piper, we have really focusing on cliques. Like we kind of have the white supremacist clique, we have the African American, the black, I'm just gonna be honest, the black female inmates, we have the Latinas, we have, and then we have the guards as well as their own clique. And then we also kind of have like Piper and Alex off to the side. They're really in no particular group, though Piper was sort of on the white supremacist side, but she didn't want to be there. She just kind of got roped in there by accident. So Jessica Pimentel plays Maria Ruiz, and she gets a good chunk of development in this season as well, because Maria sort of takes over Piper's business as selling panties, and she starts to sell drugs in the prison, which is very, very bad to do. Not that anyone that was watching this has been in jail, but you're not supposed to sell contraband in prison. Like, it's major issues, and selling drugs will add on to the years. And they were selling the panties and stuff, and essentially what happened was Maria got turned in, and she flipped out on Piper. There's a huge scene for that in the trailer, which was really funny, or really intensive, I should say. That's a very funny scene I'll talk about in a minute. But she gets more time tacked on to her sentence, and she wanted to get out of jail because she didn't want to be there when her daughter was older than like 2 or 3. So her daughter will be 5 by the time she gets out of jail. So that was really what was going on with the Latinas. They were essentially starting to initiate a business against Piper, and Piper sort of gave up her business, and then the huge consequence with Maria getting additional years tacked onto her sentence, which was just not good for her. Then Red is interesting because she's sort of in everyone's business, but at the same time, she's not. So if you remember at the end of season 4 or 3, Alex is essentially getting strangled by a hitman who's after her, and she gets killed by Lolly, or he gets killed by Lolly, and then they break him up. They break up his body. They put him in the garden, and Alex tells Piper, and Red is involved in this. And following that, Red really keeps a secret until the last or so episode. She never tells anyone, by the way, but Red is just sort of like, that's like Red's main involvement, is keeping Lolly and Alex quiet, because Alex is having major grieving issues. And Laura Papatone, or Prepone, excuse me, plays the character of Alex really well, though I do say her hair just looks so bad. It's like a really weird thing for me to say, I think, but her hair is dyed really black. I don't think that's her natural hair color, and it just I don't know, I feel like they had to put a lot of chemicals in her hair. That was the one thing about Alex that kind of distracted me. Another really great character that we have here was Tasha, or Tasty, because she got a job in Caputo's office, so she got a little bit more pull. She got to go on the internet, which was fun. Caputo gave her a watch. She just had some really great scenes. She's kind of like the comic relief character, but at the same time, she's pretty serious. I mean, I don't remember specifically what she's in the prison for, but she did a very, very good job, as always. Danielle Brooks, who plays her, is hysterical. I really think Danielle Brooks and Andrina Moore just have a great chemistry together. And so yeah, there's a great scene when she's just holding up Mr. Caputo's phone. She goes, "Mr. Caputo's office, please hold." And Mr. Caputo is just like, I got it. And I thought that was really great. She has a fantastic scene in the season finale where Poussey has been killed. And that's the big spoiler there. Poussey dies. And she's trying to get Caputo to tell the world, let people know that Poussey was inadvertently murdered. It was more so through negligent manslaughter. There was a whole riot, and not Brady. One of the younger. I'm calling Brady, but I'm wrong. One of the younger police officers. He's holding her down, Poussey down, and he eventually suffocates her because Poussey only weighed about 90 or so pounds, and it was not very good for her. That was not good for Poussey. It was a very intensive scene, especially when you see Tasty flip. It was so sad when that happened. So Poussey's death was extremely intensive. But it's interesting because she was in the season finale as well, with more development to her character. So even though she's dead, her character is still being exposed, but she won't be in season 4 at all. So a character who I haven't mentioned yet is Pentatowski, or Doggett, played by Taryn Manning. And, in season 1, she was essentially the antagonist of the show. And then, after she was beaten almost to a pulp by Piper, she pretty much became this really, really interesting, kind of lighthearted character, especially since she got physically raped last season by goats, or goatees, which was horrible. So her character is sort of like a moral voice, I would say. She always says these really deep things, especially with Boo, which I thought was interesting, especially since how Boo and her used to be complete and total opposites. But they do a very nice job together. They also have fantastic chemistry. So I loved her scenes. She was she's very, very helpful. Just like I said, with just giving the inmates, comfort and help. It's very, very nice. Another interesting thing to discuss is, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on what I wanted to discuss. No, is the guards. So we have a brand new guard this season, and we have played by Brad William Henke, who is Desi Piscatella, and he essentially forms these veteran guards, and he forms it to be this intensive group who almost go after the inmates, and it's crazy. It's truly crazy that happens. And when we go after, is this just a few cops who go after the Latinas? One of the poor Latina girls has to eat a mouse because one of his fellow inmates just has major issues, and it's bad. Also, a character who I haven't mentioned was Nikki, and Nikki has a fantastic relationship with Pentatowski as well, which I thought was actually really nice. Nikki is, she was in the shoe, and then she came back, and then she got addicted to heroin again, and Pentatowski essentially helps her with the addiction. Elizabeth Rodriguez as Alida Diaz gets released, and her release was actually really interesting. Her daughter Daya isn't as interesting as Alida. I'm probably butchering her name, which I'm so sorry about. But she gets released from the prison, and then she asks, I am blanking on the other inmate who does it. Sorry, I have all these. She asks Mendoza, played by Celise Levia, and Mendoza is one of my favorite of the Latina characters. I also happen to love Alidia as well. So I think Mendoza and Alidia are some of the best of the Latinas on the show. They're just so interesting in their character development. And she gets released, and her episode with being released was actually pretty interesting, I would say. All these episodes are fantastic. I don't think one of these episodes are bad. By the way, sorry for looking like I'm kind of distracted because I just have so many things going on, and because season 4 is, it's all released at once. I can't do an individual episode review. It's impossible. So I think I've covered essentially every character I want to. Oh, well, I'll talk about Lolly really quick. Like I said, Lolly killed the guy who was murdering Alex, and she has a mental breakdown similar to Suzanne, and Lolly gets put in the shoe, which is sad. Mr. Healy, character I really, really, really dislike, is also having mental breakdowns, and he is actually checks himself into a psych ward. He doesn't have control over anyone or over anything in his life anymore. I know I talked about Red, but Red is just so great, and just her interactions. I really love her interactions with Piper just because they're bunkmates. I think that's really, really always fun scenes to see Taylor Schilling and Kate Mulgrew always together on scene. So like I said, this season was really focused on individual groups. I would say all the characters who I've talked about are... Yep, I talked about everyone. I just want to make sure I went through my list. Every character who I talked about essentially was the main character. Also, Laverne Cox as Sophia Brissett. Sophia's wife, Crystal, was actually in more episodes than Sophia herself, which is weird. I'm not sure what Laverne Cox was doing throughout the filming of the season. Maybe she was promoting LGBT stuff. I have really no idea. But she was not in that many episodes, which is unfortunate since the character is... really, really interesting. She has a nice relationship with Mendoza when she does come back, though. There's a great scene when they're in the salon because Mendoza kicks out Ruiz's group from the salon because they essentially kind of hijacked it after Laverne or Sophia was taken to the shoe. So I would say my favorite character for New was Judy King. I'm very sorry about the death of Poussey. And I would say my overall favorite character from the show would be Red. I think Red was just a breakout character. She's so funny. And not a minor, but of these characters who I think is fun, I would give it to both to Sydney and to Tasty, and also a shout out to Pentateuski, because I think Pentateuski is also really great too. I didn't really have too much to say about Boo, but that was because I felt that Boo and Pentateuski were kind of just a single unit. So season 4 was absolutely fantastic. I'm so looking forward to watching it again. I definitely will be watching again probably within the next couple of weeks because I'm going to try to watch season 1, 2, and 3 as well. But thank you so much for tuning in to my long review of season 4 of Orange is the New Black. Like I said, sorry that I was kind of going back and forth. I just was making sure that I had everything in front of me to make this review as comprehensive as I could. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll talk real soon about Orange is the New Black in the comments below. Bye.